Hey, it's Suze, and welcome to tonight's episode of Keep the Bad Guys Away. Hey, I found some crazy stuff on Facebook yesterday. I have been looking for my family for a really long time on my own. Now, if you've seen some of my other videos, it was actually a US Marshal told me to make missing persons reports on my family, Deputy Marshal in Phoenix. So I've tried to do that. Sometimes that works, sometimes that doesn't. Where I've had a really hard time is the state of Ohio, along with the state of Nevada. My mom is missing in Nevada, and then I've got family all over Ohio. And about the only police department I felt really had luck with, that took it seriously, was Cincinnati, the Cincinnati Police Department. It's my cousin's Tammy Glasser, and I think, what's her husband's name? John. Tammy is a engineer with the city of Cincinnati, and their husband's a school teacher, and they have at least one kid. But what I found on Facebook last night was a photo of my brother Paul Knisely. And, you know, there's some corruption there in Dayton, and I think it has to do with the fact that it was former Detective Charlie Richardson with the Dayton Police Department, who was my neighbor. He's the one that actually encouraged me to make an FBI report and connected me to FBI agent Darren Murphy in the Las Vegas FBI back in 2004. And, you know, I'm going to be honest with you. I think that he is being more loyal to the FBI and to the FBI in Las Vegas than he is to me and my family. But I don't know. Who knows? I mean, this is a case where, like, everybody seems to be getting paid off and getting special favors as long as they screw me, my son, and everybody else over. Especially, you know, when we're talking about law enforcement abuse. It's like, you know, if they can get away with it, they will. But so anyway, Charlie had told me a couple years ago that my brother got married and lives in West Carrollton. Now, what I found on Facebook last night is that I found somebody that I believe is his wife, seems to be his wife, and she is a registered nurse, graduated from Wright State apparently, and well, I guess she's married to my brother. Now, they live in Springfield, according to Facebook, so that's a big contradiction. Now, keep in mind, Charlie Richardson was my next door neighbor in Dayton, Ohio for many years. So I find it very concerning that he's not putting me in direct contact with my brother Paul Knisely. And I think one of the big motives behind this is that my brother Paul had actually sent me about $3,000. It was sort of like rescue money back in 2004 based on the whole conspiracy up there in Humboldt County, California with my son and safety issues and so forth. He sent me relocation money. And so I have a feeling that, you know, since Charlie seems to be more worried about the, you know, the FBI and keeping the FBI out of trouble, I think it could be why he's either telling me misinformation or withholding information or just not putting me in contact with Paul. But Paul would know about my son. Paul would be furious if he found out that my son Adrian got assaulted. He would be furious if he saw this ICE letter that talks about the Federal Witness Protection Program and the fact that we're not in it because he should have been in it too. So he would be furious on all that. So he would be able to identify the situations that my son and I were having problems back in 2004, and that's why he sent me money. So that would be a motive as to why somebody would take him out. So, and then for whatever he might have heard from my mom throughout the years. So, but I don't know if Paul's still alive or if what I saw on Facebook yesterday is a hoax. Keep in mind, we're dealing with bad FBI agents, corruption throughout basically the whole FBI. There's nobody that's exempt. The whole FBI, there's corruption in the whole FBI, and then Eric Holder up there in Washington should have been doing something, you know, but instead he just, you know, feels that he wants to hurt me and my family, so I think he really sucks as a U.S. Attorney General. But I wouldn't be the first person to say that. So anyway, we're dealing with legal corruption within the United States. We are dealing with a whole bunch of missing people already, people that already have been identified, you know, as being missing or to some degree worse up in New York and so forth. So it is very likely that what I found on Facebook yesterday is a hoax. But Paul Knisely is apparently married to Debbie Eldridge Knisely, and according to Facebook, they live in Springfield. Now, I wasn't getting anywhere with Charlie. I even called the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office because they would know Charlie, and I didn't really feel like I got anywhere with them. So I tried contacting the Springfield, Ohio Police Department yesterday, and I even left a message for a detective, but I haven't heard back from him. Now, prior to that, when I worked up in Barrow, Alaska at the end of the summer, I subscribed to the US Marshals like email list where they talk about some of their cases, and I was actually able to find a deputy marshal in Ohio that had worked on a kind of a murder case that had some interesting points to it that seemed to be in some ways similar to motives for my family. So I contacted him, you know, just real briefly, because he was like running out the door, and I'm just like, hey, can you find my family? I mean, when, you know, when you got a smart guy, that's pretty much all you got to say. Hey, can you find my family? But, you know, I haven't heard back. So, and I understand, you know, we got corruption in the FBI, and he might not be able to find him, or he might not have jurisdiction to find him, or, you know, anyway, who knows? You know, I don't have an update. So I'm not really quite sure. So, but anyway, to be on the safe side, for Paul's sake, his photo's at the end of this video. If anybody sees him, physically sees him, I want you to tell him to, you know, see this video, tell him to contact me. And I also want you, whether, like, let's just say Paul's alive and he says, oh no, don't contact the police, I'd be fine. No, you need to contact the police. Anyway, make a report, say you saw this video. Now, if you're brave enough, you could contact the US Marshal Service, your nearest US Marshal Service, wherever that may be. You know, the US Marshals are usually very nice when you call them. I mean, heck, I call them all the time for different things. You always contact ICE. If you don't know how to get a hold of them, they have a toll-free number, 1-866-DHS-2-ICE, or go to www.ice.gov and you can make a report via email. Tell them you saw this video. But if you see Paul or know anything about my brother, please contact law enforcement, because, you know, Paul would be a major witness to a lot of the discrepancies in this case. So if he is alive, I'm very worried for him and his cute little wife and their cute little cats and so forth. And so, and disturbing, like I said, that former Detective Charlie Richardson seems more interested in protecting the FBI than he does anything else. But so anyway, please contact law enforcement if you see my brother. And, you know, I got cousins missing up in Cleveland, in Toledo, and Cincinnati, and so forth. But unfortunately, I do not have photos to show you. Jason Gibbons is an attorney up in Cleveland. Heather Gibbons, then Elizabeth Gibbons, she's a social worker in Cleveland. I've got some extended aunts and uncles up in Toledo. My cousin Tammy is a civil engineer with the city of Cincinnati. I think I've got that covered with the Cincinnati PD, but boy, I'm worried about my brother, my cousins up in Cleveland, and then, like I said, my extended family up in Toledo. Bad deal in Ohio, and I think a lot of it has to do with this, like I said, this whole police connection between Detective Charlie Richardson and the Las Vegas FBI. Now here, one other interesting point that just to show you how dangerous bad law enforcement can be. When everything cracked back in 2010, when I was still living in Las Vegas, and the Las Vegas Metro Police had to come out a zillion times, Detective James Bozaic, who conducted the interview with Senior Special Agent Peter Lazaro, who's with Homeland Security Investigations, Detective Bozaic had come out on one phone call to the police, and it was really interesting. I hadn't seen him in years, and instead of having a name badge on that said Detective Bozaic or just James or something like that, he had a name badge on that said Richardson. So that would correspond to what I would believe to be Detective Charlie Richardson up in Dayton. So there's something in that conspiracy, but there's some reason that Detective Bozaic had a name tag on that said Richardson. And I think it has to do with this whole like buddy system between law enforcement. I don't know, but that's more of the side of it. If you see my brother, please contact local authorities. I would consider him to be a person at risk, at very high risk, if he's not already missing or if he's not already dead. So anyway, that's my days. That's tonight's episode for Keep the Bad Guys Away. And like I said, every time I make a video, I get retaliated against. I got my stun gun. So anyway, I'll see you next time on Keep the Bad Guys Away. Good night.